unpacking today's headlines. This is Souls and Liberty in Depth.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to In Depth, a production of Souls and Liberty, brought to you in partnership with MyPillow.com. And yes, this is an authentic Notre Dame helmet sitting on the set. We're recording this about 12 or 13 hours after Notre Dame's thrilling, awesome, just freaking great game in the Orange Bowl against Penn State, propelling them into the national championship. We're going to talk about the significance of that, not from a sports perspective, but as a comeback, as a return of things cultural, religious, spiritual, and all of that, and use Notre Dame football as kind of a parallel to that. But more on that a little later. One of the things that's pretty cool about the golden era, or at least the promise of it, we're hearing so much about right now in the run-up to Trump 2.0, is it's not so much something new as it is a return to greatness, to better times. In the culture and the church, we have witnessed a deliberate tearing down of practically all that came before. Yes, there were some things that needed to be fixed and corrected. The stigma, for example, surrounding emotional pain and illness and prejudicial attitudes based on race or sex. But by and large, an entire civilization with all its past greatness got jettisoned, using those things as excuses for upending all that had gone before. This was also true in the Catholic Church, as the same antichrist forces that were developing the culture had already insinuated themselves among members of the Catholic hierarchy. And in truth, the reason the culture was plowed under is because it first started in the church with an unparalleled cowardice to stand up for and promote the truth, both the truth of Catholic doctrine as well as the natural law, as the church has always announced. That's why what we see happening now in the church is so vitally important. The Catholic Church was used to begin the upending of the culture, and so it must be the case that the Catholic Church must be used to help restore it. It was, after all, the Catholic Church that made Western civilization. So yes, a great corrective is needed and is in fact beginning. The worm, as they say, it's always kind of a gross expression, the worm, as they say, is beginning to turn, and the serpent is throwing fits. Everywhere Satan turns, he's being put in check, stymied, and frustrated. Now, this isn't any Pollyanna stuff. There is still a lot of real estate that has been lost to him over the past 60 years, but the forces of good have marshaled and are beginning their long march back. Now is the time for hope and energy and pushing forward, and it will require much, much dedication and effort, but rising from the ashes, while necessary, is never easy. It takes a certain resolve that derives from deep within the soul and then is exercised in the temporal order. It's time to go on the attack. Deus vult. God wills it. Now, if you're hearing my voice a little, that's because, like I said, we're recording this on Friday about 12, 13 hours after Notre Dame's thrilling win in the Orange Bowl last night. So along the same line of thought we just talked about in the commentary, Notre Dame football. And before anyone says, yeah, you went there. Yes, I did, class of 83. And you're an Irish nut. No, that's true, for the record. I'd like to draw some parallels between what's happening in the culture in the church with what's happening at Notre Dame. And not just the football program, but the school also. There's a resurgence of not just spirit at Notre Dame, but the spiritual. Look at this picture from last night's Orange Bowl when kicker Mitch Jeter, Notre Dame kicker Mitch Jeter, kicked the game-winning field goal and propelled Notre Dame into the national championship. Runs off the field, doing his thing, whips out that crucifix around his neck, shows it. I mean, what a great, that's awesome. That's awesome. And here's what he had done just moments before.
41-yard attempt. Snap and hold are good. The kick is good!
And the Irish got into that position to kick the game-winning field goal with a resolve that sportscasters were blown away by. Here, for example, is Jeremiah Love, who will not give up. Even with a racked up injured knee, he was getting into that end zone. And then a few plays later, Jaden Greathouse. And they don't call him Greathouse, is his name, but they don't call him that for nothing. Check it out.
Minutes to go. 2nd down and 8. Penn State leads by a touchdown. Leonard throws wide open. Jaden Greathouse avoided Jalen Reed and scores. 54 yards.
Well, you're going to see Cam Miller engaged with Greathouse in the slot, and as Greathouse goes to the outside, Miller just falls down. As a result, Greathouse has nothing but room out in front, makes a guy.
It was a stunning comeback for Notre Dame, who had been pushed all over the field the first half and knocked to the mat. Excuse me. Like I said, my voice is a little shot. There was a lot of screaming and merrymaking and carrying on at the Notre Dame Houston Alumni Club game watch last night. After the game, listen to what Notre Dame quarterback Riley Leonard had to say.
You guys flipped a switch coming in at halftime. What was Coach Freeman's message to you guys in the locker room?
Yeah, he said, history is written by conquerors, and we're holding the pen. We decide how we want to write our history, and I'm a firm believer in whether you think you can or you can't do something, you're right. We believe that we can do it, and we went out there and did it.
What changed offensively so you guys started moving the football in the second half?
Shoot, I just started trusting the Lord. I looked up, I said, Jesus, whatever your will is for my life, I trust it 100%. And I know that this offense and this team trust in Jesus and his plan for this season. As far as the question goes, I forgot the question, but we got to go in the second half.
You took a big hit at the end of the second quarter, evaluated for a concussion. How were you able to get back on the field to lead your team to this victory?
Yeah, I knew I was going to get back out there. Obviously safety first on the football field, but I just kind of had to prove to everybody that I was fine. I got up a little wobbly, but, it's all good.
You transferred to Notre Dame with this goal in mind. You're about to play in a national championship. What does that mean to you?
Well, it doesn't even feel real. And once again, I shouldn't be the one on the microphone right now. I didn't do my part tonight, but heck, these guys did, and they carried me throughout the entire game. Whenever there was a second of doubt in my mind, I had somebody coming up and telling me that they believed in me. So to be here on this stage, we're going to enjoy it. We got one more left.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Jesus bless. Thank you.
And again, this iconic picture of Mitch Jeter showing that crucifix. However, that's what you see on the field. What many people don't know about is what has happened away from the field, and that is Marcus Freeman and his conversion to Catholicism last season. It had been a very long stem. That's a great picture. Look at that. He's just being received into the church. Those that, Notre Dame's, I don't want to say high priest, but, a lot of the got people associated with the administration, priests associated with the administration, obviously, and the football program, team chaplain, Notre Dame president, all that stuff. It had been a very long-standing tradition at Notre Dame that the team would attend Mass just before the game and then head over to the stadium. Brian Kelly, the pretty unpopular head coach at Notre Dame before Freeman was there, a named coach 3 seasons ago, Freeman, Kelly actually canceled that tradition. He just got rid of the team going to Mass. Freeman comes along, converts to the Catholic faith, and restores the practice of Mass before the game, every game. And what everyone's talking about in reference to Notre Dame football now is the cultural change that Freeman has brought to the program. He turned the ripe old age of 39 at the Orange Bowl. By the way, his daughter has the same birthday. So he was joking at his press conference. He's got this little thing going back and forth. He and his daughter have the same birthday and how she always kind of seems to win and get the attention and everything. A great dad. And even at this relatively tender age, he understands the spiritual and has fully embraced it. For example, and they're not ordered to, this is all voluntary. It actually began with the team itself. Almost half of the Notre Dame team meets every Thursday on their own for Bible study. There is massive respect for religion and our blessed Lord Jesus among the players, something tossed out by Brian Kelly in years past. You're starting to see some parallels here with the wider cultural reform and what's going on at Notre Dame. We need to take a short look at this, something Notre Dame puts together after each win. And I got to say, they do it with lightning speed.
We going to the jet, baby. It's one of the best days of my life.
Native Bound remix, Orange Bowl remix. Steve Morgan Freeman. Let's show them how the Irish fight. Notre Dame teammates, let's get it. This is the way we live. Notre Dame #1 on the field. We the fighting Irish, yeah, that's real. So beating these teams is no big deal, big deal, big. This is the way we live. Notre Dame remix, now that's big dog status. We won the Sugar Bowl, so we can't act average, huh? Who throwing balls, making plays? He's a big winner. Must be that boy Riley, aka Big Leonard. Speed racing down the field with a magic glove. Man, who that boy is? Jeremiah Love. Jordan Clark, Ryan Clark, this ESPN. College night football, the glorious for the win. This is the way we live. Notre Dame #1 on the field. We the fighting Irish, yeah, that's real. So beating these teams is no big deal, big deal, big. This is the way we live. Oh, this is the.
All right, on that happy note, it's pretty cool. People don't know this, but they produced that video. They have that song. The melody to that song is there, but the person who does the lyrics for it rewrites the lyrics after each game, making it specific to the game, and then the team who edits that together. I'm talking about like in the dead of the night at this point. I mean, the Notre Dame game, the Orange Bowl ended last night at whatever, it was like 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I was out by 2 in the morning, and I know as I was sitting there scrolling on my phone, my voice is a little shot, and I look a little tired and everything, but I don't care. Go Irish. But yeah, they put that together, and it's very, you talk about a brotherhood. And I know that happens in every like locker room after a big win and all that and everything else. As they're all saying all over the sports world, this Notre Dame team is built different, and they're built different because of the spiritual. Be right back.
Just like all of you, I had problems sleeping. I had tried every pillow out there and nothing worked. I'd flip-flop all night, use my arm for support, and fall asleep, or I'd wake up with a sore neck or maybe a headache. Well, quality sleep comes from keeping your neck straight at night. You have to fill in that space between your head and your bed. That's why I invented MyPillow. MyPillow's patented fill adjusts to your exact individual needs, and it doesn't matter if you sleep on your back, stomach, side, or any combination of all three.
When I got MyPillow, I'm asleep almost immediately. I stay asleep at night, and I wake up more well-rested in the morning.
So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use your promo code to get Classic King MyPillows for only $19.98. Queen size just $18.98. Standard Classic MyPillows only $14.98. That's right, only $14.98. Plus all orders $75 or more ship absolutely free.
All right, one of the things I want to talk about real quick about the game is that at the Alumni Club Game Watch, they were passing out beads. So I have 3 wraps of beads around my neck. One was from the Indiana win in the first win over Indiana in the first round of the playoffs. The second one was the Sugar Bowl win over Georgia. The third one is for the game last night against Penn State in the Orange Bowl. And that means the fourth one, here it is. We're going to the national championship. Whoever wins the national championship had to win 4 games. Notre Dame is now going into the 4th game. We don't know, as we're recording this, we don't know if it's going to be Texas or Ohio State we're playing against, one of the two. But we win that game, and here it is, the gold. I'm not going to put it on you. I don't want to jinx anything, but here's the gold national championship deal. It's beads. It's cool. Gosh, this is so cool. This is so cool. All right, so now the turn of the spiritual, again, not just the spirit, but the spiritual, is truly remarkable when you consider that those in charge of Notre Dame for decades and decades had expended tremendous energy trying to kill the spiritual. You had, for example, Father Theodore Hesburgh, who was, the president of the Rockefeller Foundation and earned that spot because he had secret meetings with Planned Parenthood on campus in the mid-1960s while the whole question of birth control and let's change the church's teaching on birth control was all the hot topic. The snake. He did everything he could to flatten spirituality at Notre Dame. He was willing to trade away Notre Dame's soul for Notre Dame's temporal glory. And he did. He built up a tremendous, well-respected, incredible, academic institution. But he, at least for his part, was willing to, and he kind of traded away Notre Dame's soul. But, we're Catholics, and Jesus did not stay in the tomb, and neither does Catholicism. For example, another loser at Notre Dame, Father Richard McBride, he was constantly on camera, giving the liberal point of view on everything. And some of the old timers, you guys, you're going to remember all of this. Richard McBride was always on ABC News. He was always saying the church needs to change its teaching on birth control. What he didn't tell you is that probably the worst kept secret at Notre Dame, at least among the clergy, was that he had a common law wife who he lived with for the requisite 13 years, according to, according to Indiana law. And she became his wife. She used to go, she became his wife through tort. She used to go to all the, Notre Dame priest gatherings with him. And it is disgraceful. So, here's a guy preaching to change the church's teaching with a dog in the fight and not saying that he has a dog in the fight. Hesburgh appointed him chairman of the theology department at Notre Dame. Just disgraceful. That went on for like 20 years. I was there when he was the head of the theology department. The stuff he used to say in class was absolutely insane. Another thing that was going on under the past regimes at Notre Dame was they refused to allow 24-hour adoration in the basilica. Oh, no, that would be too dangerous. Yeah, that's what they said. The response, they did allow fine. I can't remember, it was a couple days a week for like 2 hours from like 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock or something like that in the evening. But the thing was, oh, no, we can't have students walk out. It would be too dangerous. Too dangerous? I mean, thousands of students walk back from the bars absolutely hammered a mile off campus. So I don't know, they think like it was a bunch of people hiding in the bushes ready to jump on people coming out of adoration. It was just a ridiculous, it just completely ridiculous excuse to deny adoration. That's no longer the case. There was no other way to say it, liberal as hell clergy. The stuff that you used to hear come out of some of these priests' mouths in homilies and sermons in the basilica, and the way they used to conduct mass in the dorms, I mean, it was disgraceful, absolutely disgraceful. The former president, who's gone now, thank God, Father John Jenkins, allowed the vagina monologues to be played on campus as part of a student effort, and you dressed it up in this big, we're going to have this is a university and we're going to wrestle with challenging this and that. Just garbage, absolute garbage. They never allowed all the faithful stuff to happen, but they let all the unfaithful stuff happen, including inviting Obama to Notre Dame to address the crowd in the graduation crowd in May of 2009. A big wake up moment for me. And there was an enormous number of faculty at Notre Dame who were not Catholic. I'm pretty sure, I'd have to check, but I'm pretty sure that has now changed, and more than 50% of the faculty is Catholic. Of course, that doesn't necessarily mean they're faithful Catholic, but you got to start somewhere. So the good news is that's the way Notre Dame was when I was there. It wasn't quite that bad. It got worse and worse to all that point, but it was turning then away from traditional, rock solid Catholic Notre Dame into what it became until just very recently when it started finally turning. Much of that, as we have said, is now receding. It ain't gone, not by any stretch, but all of that liberal crap is now playing defense at last. Starting point, as opposed to liberal, crazy clergy being ordained at Notre Dame, now the religious order that runs Notre Dame, or at least supplies the priest for Notre Dame, Congregation of Sancta Croce, the Congregation of Holy Cross, CSC, I mean, they are not, as we've covered this in other topics and shows also, but that is not this previous generation's wild, crazy, unfaithful clergy. Not at all. The young priests that are turning out at Notre Dame, they are rock solid. There's a paper on campus, student-run newspaper, called The Observer. And The Observer, that was there when I was there. Nothing but just constant, liberal, horrible, propaganda. All of a sudden, a alternative media See where I'm going with this? An alternative media popped up, and that newspaper is called the Irish Rover, and it's constantly putting out well-reasoned, well-written defenses and statements of Catholic teaching and this and that and everything else. It was, if you remember a show we did earlier, where a poll was taken. It was that newspaper that took the poll, and that newspaper took the poll and found that 52% to 48% of Notre Dame's student body wanted Trump to win and were planning on voting for Trump over Kamala. That was quite earth-shaking. Notre Dame's been extremely liberal, even the student body, certainly the faculties, the administration, the student body, and you see everything turning, everything beginning to turn. An organization that did not exist while I was there as a student back in the 80s, but has popped up and is pretty ascendant at this point, is an organization called, I'll hold this up so you can see it. This is the Children of Mary. I think we can see that. Okay, right? And I get closer to the microphone here. I'll hold it up in front of me. Children of Mary. It's this little sweat jacket I got, hoodie. This organization promotes Eucharistic processions and, fealty to Catholic teaching. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of students who belong to that. Many of them attend Latin Mass. They are members of all sorts of service things going on at Notre Dame, good, solid corporal works of mercy stuff. It's tremendous. It's tremendous. Another thing that is changing is the, Father Richard McBride, I noticed or mentioned, was the chair of the theology department while things were like liberal as could be. All of that has been pretty much swept out. And now the philosophy department and the theology department at Notre Dame, it's quite the change. I mean, these are faithful Catholics now in front of like it used to be. There's about the golden era and going back, and it's not really something new. It's just a return to what was. That's happening. Students are now sitting in front of professors who know the faith philosophically and theologically, and it'd be exciting to be a student there now. It really would be. What we all see happening on the field with the players and Coach Freeman is indeed a different culture. But as they say, this Notre Dame team, it's built different. That's true. It's deeply spiritual, the team, and the school that the team emerges from. One of the great traditions at Notre Dame is after a game, the team goes over and sings the alma mater with the band and the fans. Now, even though it's sung with all of that post-win excitement and everything, talking about college kids here, for goodness sakes, excuse me, the words of that song are words of praise to the Mother of God. Remember, Notre Dame is French for Our Lady. The words to the song of the alma mater at Notre Dame is, Notre Dame, our mother, tender, strong, and true. I won't sing it for you. Proudly in the heavens gleam thy gold and blue. Glory's mantle cloaks thee. Golden is thy fame, and our hearts forever praise thee, Notre Dame, and our hearts forever love thee, Notre Dame. And here's the team at the end of the game last night. And as the resurrected Notre Dame emerges, much of the talk in the sports world is about incorporating Catholicism into what's going on with Notre Dame.
He's been a great coach. I won the coaching battle last week, and obviously we'll see if he can win it again this week.
I like where Notre Dame is, and when you talk about having money,
that helps. They got it.
They got a lot of boosters.
Yeah, pretty powerful institution behind them as well.
And also a funnel of a pipeline from Catholic schools.
Yeah.
Which I did not learn until I talked to you, because Catholic school kids are going to know this. I didn't associate with a lot of Catholic school kids throughout my entire life. I actually had quite a vision of you guys for a large part of my life, and still I have to bury that thought about you guys from all my life, basically judging how soft you guys would have to be Catholic school kids. And you wear khakis every day. Shut up. I don't want to hear it like that. Oh, it's expensive to go to a Catholic school. Oh, you come from. So that is how I've always viewed Catholic school kids growing up. Now, getting to know a lot of Catholic school kids, I was pretty wrong about a lot of these dudes. Now, I'm sure there are those people
for sure
that exist in those Catholic schools, but it's like there is a discipline that is taught in there that it certainly helps in life and everything like that. And having that pipeline of Catholic schools wanting to go to Notre Dame, like the dream is to go to Notre Dame. Like that is kind of the thought through all these Catholics. That's going to help out, plus the NIL, plus everything else they are cooking. It's a good time to be a Notre Dame Fighting Irish fan, I think.
Without a doubt. And, I think a lot of Notre Dame fans appreciate that Marcus Freeman, by large, he's a good dude. He doesn't seem like a sack of shite, which maybe the previous guy, a lot of people kind of thought he was towards the end. No shots fired, kind of just is what it is. But he's doing it the right way as well, which I think a lot of people, especially around that campus and longtime Notre Dame fans, appreciate.
He's
as well.
a Catholic too. I think he converted to Catholicism.
Yeah, right.
And he is seemingly the guy. He can have that job for 40 years too.
Oh, yes.
Actually. At the age of 38.
For sure.
And remember how the team reacted when he was announced as the head coach.
Well, I don't think they knew, right?
Yeah, they didn't know. So they knew, obviously, Brian left, and then he walked into the weight room, and it was a big, that was pretty dope to see.
Yeah, I think the strength coach and a lot of the coaches said, we're staying with this guy instead of going down to Louisiana. But I think it was before it was announced who the head coach was. Players didn't know who the coach was going to be. They were in the weight room, and the strength coach talks about it's always going to be about this, it's going to be about this. And now your new head coach of the Notre Dame team, and then when Marcus Freeman turns that corner, I think the boys were both surprised and then immediately elated. And then as they're jumping in the middle, you see Marcus Freeman and the boys show a level of respect, all right, let me get back to the front of this thing. Now let's go ahead and do this. It is not a lot of young guys are able to take on that big of a job.
All right, before we leave you, here's Notre Dame's band at practice playing the greatest of all college fight songs, the Notre Dame Victory March. All right, wrapping things up again. If you like what we do here, how we talk about things, how we connect dots and all that stuff, and all of that, how we present it, please click on that provided donate link and help us keep doing what we do. Until the next show, Gary Michael Vor's coming to you from Houston, Texas. Yeehaw with yet another resounding Notre Dame win. Go Irish. God love you. Cheer, cheer for old Notre Dame. Wake up the echoes cheering her name. Send a volley cheer on high. Shake down the thunder from the sky. What though the odds be great or small, old Notre Dame will win over all, while her loyal sons are marching onward to victory. Ooh, that was a flat note. See you later.